Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Nick.
Coming to you live from a fresh install Windows 7. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, you upgraded finally.
Yeah, from XP.
Good.
It's finally,
Yeah.
and finally, Windows 7's finally stable after 11 years.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
And Gal is here.
Good morning.
Gal is still using Vista, I think.
Boo.
Can't you hear in my voice?
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by Vimix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming.
When did Vista go? Didn't Vista have a very short
Vista
end
was
of life?
It was like ME.
Yeah.
It was a really real piece of crap. I think XP and Windows 7 are in the same category at this point. XP was a very successful operating system, ran for a long time. Then you had the ME that kind of and Vista, and then came Windows 7 and lasted 10 years?
2009.
Yeah. And 8 also didn't last long.
8.1 did, though. 8.1 still supported OS.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep, and here we are. And I'm sure a lot of people this week saw that big blue screen.
Oh, let me tell you what. Consumers are the worst. Consumers are the absolute freaking worst people in the world. They are the worst. They are the most incompetent people in the world. You can tell somebody for 11 years you need to update your operating system, and then a pop comes up. You need to drop everything you're doing and update my computer. I mean, are you freaking kidding me?
Oh well.
There's a pop-up. Why has this not been taken care of? Well, ma'am, sorry. You didn't ever agree to paying to have us update your computer. Well, it needs to be done now.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, actually, you can go to hell. It's not going to get done right now because I've got 3,000 other things I'm doing.
Yeah, but you're doing it anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The machine that does the reruns is still running Windows 7.
Got to get that updated.
Yeah, I've got the new machine on the
yeah
counter, and we'll do it. But the thing is, this morning I can't remember this week. One morning I got up and I'm sitting here doing my email stuff, and I'm thinking I'm not hearing anything from the studio. So I looked at the monitor that I kind of see from the corner of my eye, and there was nothing on it. I said, oh, something happened. So I come in here, and on the main screen, that blue screen about Windows 7. So it actually, whenever it came on, it killed the stream. It was still streaming, but it killed the video. It's like messed up Wirecast altogether, that nothing was going on, no audio. I'm assuming no video. And so the minute I said, don't remind me again, bam, everything came back. But I thought about it this morning. I was saying, boy, mean, now that's a little bit ridiculous. Put a pop up so the user can see it, but to interfere with running programs.
Yep, that's the intention. That's the
Yeah.
only. I I wrote an article about this. I'm not going to promote it. I wrote an article.
Yeah, you should promote it.
So why are, and the question I asked in it was, why are people so hesitant to upgrade? Why does Microsoft have to push out a full screen system halting pop-up to get people to contemplate updating an operating system? There's nothing wrong with Windows 10. Windows 10 is not a broken operating system.
No, it's not.
Windows 10 is not a cobbled together mess. It's an incredibly stable OS. I've been running it since the early tech builds, and my issues have been very far and few in between.
And
so why are people, and it's free.
Exactly.
It costs nothing. It is completely free to update. Why are people so hell-bent on running 11-year-old operating systems? Why?
That's easy, man.
Why?
Because up until Windows 7, right, every other update was
Broke it.
terrible.
Yeah, I agreed.
Right? And Windows 7 was the first stable thing that they got. And still, right, back there, any upgrade up from Windows 7, right, mentally would be a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second.
So,
wait. Let's not forget something. That even updates to Windows 10 broke computers. And there was a lot.
There's hundreds of millions of them.
And there was
updates to iPhone broke iPhones. Come on,
exactly.
It doesn't really matter. Yeah.
So there was a lot of talk about it, and it scared people. I mean, it scared me. And
this is the thing: is obviously I'm not old enough to have lived through the days of 95 and XP, in which literally every update was breaking the operating system. But you're talking over 20 years ago.
I don't remember that. I don't remember.
Oh, there's a whole. I mean, there was just a big issues with drivers of 95 and XP. But so, God, obviously
XP,
that's the reason.
XP became stable in Service Pack 2.
Yeah.
So you got XP, you got XP Service Pack 1, and only when you got XP Service Pack 2, and XP was fantastic compared to everything that came before that, right?
Yeah.
Before Windows NT and Windows 3.1.1, XP was like a godsend. And it's still only by Service Pack 2, it started to become this viable work machine. Right? And so even from and after XP Service Pack 2, even then, right? They came out with Vista, they came out with it's like they made mistake after mistake after mistake. And so
and they will.
And even Windows 8 was a mistake.
Yeah,
right?
8.1 was a mistake too. Total agreement.
Right. It was stable, but it was still horrible, right?
Yeah.
So people do not trust the updates. And if they can do without, they won't.
Yeah.
It was.
And Gene says
it was also a situation where they gave you time in the beginning to update for free, and they told you after a year it's not going to be free. As it turned out, it probably was.
They never said it's not going to be free. They said it's going to be free for a year.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
they never elaborated.
Yeah. Okay. And after that, people were just saying, "Well, geez, I'm going to have to pay 190, 150, 100. I'll wait. And in reality, apparently, it was free that whole time.
It was.
And really, I was embarrassed how simple it was to upgrade. I mean, it really is. Anybody can do it without any. You don't need to be a techie. It is so simple. It's funny. And I don't know if that's how it was all along, or they just made it so it works that way now toward the end of Windows 7. But that's still, at this point, all you have to do is just go, and you don't even have to download and burn a DVD. As long as you
You don't even need the USB dongle. You just need
Right. You don't need any of that stuff. Just make sure that you make a backup of your drive, of your data. You got to, because things can always go haywire. Power interruption, internet interruption, and you don't know what's going to happen. But really, you started, you say, upgrade right on their website, and it goes and does it. Doesn't ask you for license key, doesn't ask, it just does it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely no reason not to do it.
Yet the current statistics as of December of this year,
Mhm.
not of this year, December of last year, 32% of PCs in the wild are still running Windows 7.
Yeah. I wonder how low did it go? How much lower did it go after the 14th of this month?
I will find out at hopefully the end
Yeah.
of January. I don't get it. It puts Microsoft in such a terrible situation.
It does. Yeah,
People and I understand if it's not broke, they'll fix it. That is a terrible mentality with technology. That is a terrible, terrible philosophy to have in terms of technology.
and
If that was the case, you'd still have what did Bill Gates say about RAM? 300 megs. I mean, serious.
no.
What was it?
He said 640K.
Okay, yeah, 640K. If we're gonna believe it's not broke, don't fix it,
Yeah.
then we would still have single core CPUs, and
Right.
That is the worst that is the worst mentality with technology.
and
I don't buy it. I think that is I think that's a lame excuse.
and it's worse today than it was years ago when we went from XP to up, and from to 7 and all that. Today there's a whole lot more people doing their financial transactions online from their computer at home, and it is really dangerous if they're not updating Windows 7. It is really dangerous. And I did recognize that situation when 10 came out, and I don't do financial transactions on my machine other than PayPal.
Yeah, Amnon has saddles up on a horse to come over to the local Western Union
Yeah.
to do his transaction.
And but Kathy does, my wife.
Okay.
So Kathy's machine was updated to Windows 10, I don't know, 2 years ago.
Good.
Because you knew that that's what it is. It's something you have to be responsible. And listen to this. The UK's National Cybersecurity Center is warning people of using online banking or accessing sensitive accounts from devices running Windows 7 from Tuesday, January 14th. That's when the end of life. So they warn people, if you're doing anything financial, not from Windows 7. Now, look, Windows 7 will probably run for 20 more years if you're not doing much on it.
The argument I made, though, is why would you want to use an
Right, no.
11-year-old
Yeah.
operator? That's what I can't wrap my head around, Em.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why? Why would you want you know what else came out in 2009? The iPhone 3GS. The first iPhone with an app store. Why would you not want to run that?
No. Yeah.
I mean, why don't you go to what? Em, I'm sure you've got an old netbook laying around somewhere from that era. Why aren't you using that? Because it's a piece of junk.
No, I agree.
That's what I don't understand. It's like we moved we moved on from almost all of the other technology from that era because of better and newer things that have come out, but for some reason operating systems don't fit the bill. The update takes less than an hour and a half to do, completely free.
And hopefully more and more people will be doing it.
Yeah, I unless you have a piece of software that does not run, which I would argue with you that if you have a piece of software that runs on 7, it will run on 10.
Yeah.
I almost guarantee it. There's no excuse.
No, absolutely not.
And it's
And
very frustrating.
I
I guess
did
it's my age probably, but it's very frustrating.
I did encounter a situation where a piece of software will not run when I did
Okay.
an upgrade for somebody who was running Vista to Windows 10, and they had a piece of software that was running that was real old, and it was running in XP compatibility.
Mhm.
Under Windows 10, I went and I set it up to XP compatibility. Said, nope, that's not going to run on this OS. And I guess it comes to a time where, come on,
Yeah.
we can't do it, and it's understandable. And the truth is that software was not really needed. It was nice to have it; I could use it, but it wasn't something that they depended on all these years when they were using Vista.
I
So
probably
it
wouldn't have run on
wasn't bad.
Windows 7.
You were what?
It probably wouldn't have run on Windows 7. If you would have put it,
Maybe I don't know. There was never a Windows 7 on it, but that's the
yeah.
first and only program that I've seen. I mean, I have my own ISP billing program, which was written back in the days of Windows 95 XP. It is not a Windows program in the sense, how Windows puts these files over in this folder and some in your profile and some there. No, this is like all inclusive in its own folder. Um, and I've been running it ever since I bought it back when it was still Windows XP. I did not run. I did not use it when it was 95. It's still running perfectly in XP compatibility. And before I updated the computer here to Windows 10, I actually now I mean I put it on a thumb drive and put it into a Windows 10 machine, put it in a folder, brought it up, everything is running. I'm not a programmer. This is a file maker, some kind of a database thing.
Did you try running it in not compatibility mode?
Yeah, it won't come
It
up.
will.
It won't come up. Period. But
Makes sense.
the fact is, it did come up and running. I mean, and I tried and went and transactions and all that. Everything is working under Windows 10, so it's okay. I mean,
Do you know the name of the XP software or the Vista software that didn't run,
oh shoot, I
or what
did.
it did?
I did last week. I don't remember now.
You remember what it
It's
did?
no. It's not a Vista software. It's older than Vista. It's XP.
No, but what was the one that was running on Vista?
I No, I don't remember it. No, I knew it last. I knew it last week when I was sitting there, beginning of last week.
John says I lost one program when I migrated from 7 to 10, able to extract a utility for PDF to Office files. Yeah, and there's probably an alternative that will run on Windows 10.
I actually, and again, I need to go and get the uh, program name, but I never had one of these converters, and one of my customers needed it again and again, and I got it's from the people that do the Move AVI maybe it is, and moveavi.com. It's a software that will go back and forth, PDF to doc and all and other, and it was like $30 and so simple and so easy to use.
Is
So
it by the Foxit people?
no, no,
No.
go to moveavi.com because I use their uh, video not editor but muncher, and it's something about PD. They have it their PDF something.
PDF editor.
Do they have anything other PDF? I mean, I used it
No.
once, but 2 months ago, so I don't know.
No, that's what it's called.
Yeah, and it works great. I mean, you put a you tell it here is the doc or docx, and I want it in PDF, or here's the PDF, make it into a doc. I mean, seconds, and it works, and very simple. So, John, if you need that, uh, that's a good program to use if you need another one.
An article are we good to move on?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
An article just came out this morning on ZDNet.
yeah.
Hackers leak passwords from more than 500,000 servers, routers, and LOT devices.
Jeez.
A massive list, more than 515,000 servers, home routers, and Internet of Things smart devices. The list was published on a hacking forum, including each device's IP address along with a username for the Telnet service. According to experts, ZDNet statement from the leaker himself is the list was compiled by scanning the entire internet for devices that were exposing their Telnet ports.
Mhm.
The hackers tried to use 1, factory set default usernames and passwords, or 2, custom but easy to guess username and password combination.
But these are programs that are using Telnet.
Well, the router thing, Internet of Things devices that have Telnet enabled. I guess I should. Can I download this list? I wonder.
Yeah, we stopped using Telnet years ago because of problems with it.
I wonder if I can download this.
And what? And go
I
fishing?
want to see if my IP's in there.
Oh,
I mean, I've got these weird, these
but
these
you
little
see, the thing that the problem with this is that it catches your IP, but your IP is dynamic, so
it hasn't
it's
changed
not
since
going
I've
to
lived
be
here.
really.
Yeah. That's not true. It's changed once after Hurricane Florence. It changed, but I still have the original IP.
So yeah, so it's you may.
I want the damn ZDNet doesn't post the damn link.
Surprise, surprise.
I know. I
They're
mean,
not a hacking news outlet. Come on.
I don't.
If you are a Comcast customer, Comcast has agreed to issue refunds to 15,600 customers and cancel the debt of another 16,000 people to settle allegations that the cable company lied to customers in order to hide the true cost of service. Comcast will have to pay $1.3 million in refunds. The settlement with Minnesota Attorney General announced last week and resolved the lawsuit filed by the state against Comcast in December 2018. Hopefully, there'll be more states that will do this. I mean, I don't see them just cheating customers in Minnesota. They probably cheated all of them all over the country. But if you are a Comcast user, customer, look into it. What else? There was something about that machine that I built. Oh, yeah. So I was talking with Nick this week, We said, okay, it's time to upgrade that Windows 7 machine in here that does the reruns, the 24/7 programming. It's time to upgrade it to Windows 10. So I said, well, there's another i5. Why don't I just put another one there? And we said, okay. Next said, yeah, why not? So I went ahead and put Windows 10 on it and this and that and the other. And Nick said, don't you have a good graphics card? I'm looking on the floor and there's one that I was using in the machine over here that was doing the live programming. A nice big graphics card. So I say, yeah, here. Put it in. Well, it does not have the plugs, the power plugs uh for the video card. And I'm no gamer. And it doesn't I don't think about these things. So had to order another power supply. I was reading, I mean, I had some power supplies that had one connector. It's a 6-pin connector. And that card had two of them. And I didn't know, does it need one? Does it need two? But you don't want to mess things up. Nick, do you have any idea? If it has two of them, does that mean that you have to use both?
Most of the time, yes, but not
Okay.
always.
Um, so then this is an HP computer. And turns out the DVD is one of those slim DVDs that's vertical there behind a little bitty door. And the power connector, even though it's SATA, the power connector is different. It's real tiny. So I said, well, I don't need a DVD anyway, so never mind. Put it on. Oh, everything is nice. Everything is working. There was something that I needed. Oh, I installed the capture card. And I needed to install the driver for it. Well, the driver came on the DVD. I said, oh, shoot. So I went and started looking online, and I did find the software and installed it. But then I sat down and searched for a converter. Sure enough, there are converters like that, from regular SATA power or regular Molex 4-pin power to slim DVD. So I ordered one. I didn't get it yet, but I ordered one. So you sometimes you see these things as you're upgrading a machine, or let's not upgrading, but repurposing a machine, that you're going to run into some kind of problem. Would I have still done it? Yes, because it wasn't that expensive. I mean, power supply was about $30 some. It was worth it. Um, I then thought, well, I'm wondering if that machine is actually going to be able to make it to work. So I left it on the counter for about since Tuesday, running video programs. It's fine. It's running. It's running just fine. So time will tell when I put it up in service to see how it's going to do. But it was weird that here's a perfectly. I mean, this is like a 3-year-old, no, a 5-year-old PC desktop, that the power supply did not have those connectors. And today you can hardly buy a power supply without these connectors on.
Who was the manufacturer?
HP.
Yeah, that's why.
Go ahead.
HP, Dell, and these other companies. That's the kind of crap that they do.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I had one that I bought as a spare power supply for the computer here that I do, but and it's one of those modular.
Yeah.
It was too big. I
Yeah,
mean,
for the
it wouldn't
case. Yeah,
fit. Yeah,
exactly.
it wouldn't fit. But yeah, so far everything is okay. We'll see.
Cool. Yeah.
919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. All right, let's see what else we have here. The, let me read this first and then talk about it. Last Monday, members of the European Parliament discussed the idea of introducing binding measures that would require chargers to fit all mobile phones and portable electronic devices. The company that would be impacted most by this legislation would be Apple and its iPhone, which uses a lightning cable, while most new Android phones use USB-C ports for charging. So a lot of people in the chat probably remember back in 90s and 2000s, every phone, if it was a different manufacturer, had a different power supply, a different charger. I still have
a different connector.
a different connector. Yeah, it was the same voltage, but it was different connector on it. And it wasn't something that you could plug and unplug the cable. It was wired in, so there was nothing you can do about it. I have a box here full of chargers. Each one is different connector. It was really something when we came to the point where, oh, look, there's some this charger is going to work on this program. I mean, on this phone. Wow. And slowly things became more of the on the is it the what do they call them?
Micro USB.
Micro USB and mini USB. Yeah, micro USB.
Mini USB is the little bit larger one. Micro is
Yeah,
the one
okay.
phone.
No, it started with the mini. Yeah, it started with the mini, but micro are the one most widespread.
Yeah, and today most of the phones use that.
No, actually, most of them use USB-C.
Now, the very new ones, but in the last 10 years or so, it was mainly the mini USB or the micro USB.
Yeah.
And you can go to another, you can buy a charger anywhere. Back then you couldn't. Because nobody make it. I mean, why would I make one if I'm a manufacturer? Why would I make one that I will only sell 10 of? So it wasn't. Today, when it's more standard, it's nice. You take it and you use it on another phone. Apple, yeah, I don't know why they stayed with the Lightning for years and years. They must have a reason. I don't know if it's because they're trying to sell their power supply. A lot of people are buying the aftermarket power supplies and are happy with them, and they cost like a fraction of what Apple sells them for. But I don't know why. I really don't.
In comparison to what?
In comparison to the USB, to the mini micro USB.
Well, they're not. Well, because mini USB is a far less superior connection.
No, USB-C.
USB-C would be fine, but using mini USB would not make any sense.
Yeah, and the thing is that Microsoft are the first one to adopt the USB-C on their laptop.
Yeah.
Right? But they're still haven't done the move to the mobile.
I remember when Nick got his Switch.
Yeah, it uses USB-C.
Yeah, and he came over here and he said, "Do you have a charger?" I said, "Oh, sure."
Of course.
and it was not. I mean, we didn't have a USB-C. It was
No, yeah, mini USB. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Yeah.
So
So okay. So to answer your question, the reason Apple's not going to switch to USB-C, because of what Gal said, obviously it's theirs. But if you look at docks and things that exist, all that stuff's using Lightning.
yeah,
So
I don't know why it's why they never adapted it to begin with to be, but they
well, to be fair, they were way earlier to the scene with Lightning than USB-C was.
yeah. But today, and I mean, uh, the iPad that Kathy is using,
Mhm.
that's that's Lightning,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's hard to plug it in,
Why?
and she was having a hard time. I have no idea why.
It's the
I mean,
same kind of connector. You can plug it in on both sides. It's
yeah,
not
but
there's no polarity on it.
the thing that really saved the day for me with the phone and with the iPad, where you plug and unplug, plug and unplug, plug and unplug, are these magnetic attachments. You plug it in, and then it's a magnet, and it just attaches. Uh, you, I don't think any of the connectors are going to get messed up, because before, I don't know if it happened because the her phone or the iPad would sometimes fall off table onto the carpet, attached to the power. And these are these are the situations where those little connectors on laptops, on phones, on iPads, on tablet, whatever, get messed up. They're not armored. They're very flimsy, all of them. And if you put a good amount of force on it, a jolt, it will mess up. And I've seen broken motherboards that the connector actually broke off. And maybe that happened, and something got screwed up with the socket on the iPad. I have no idea. I have a cell phone that if you put it in, you have to kind of jiggle it in there a little bit before it makes a connector.
That's
And
the
older,
biggest. That's a prime example of why mini USB is a terrible
well,
connector. That is the mini USB, or excuse me, micro USB is
Mhm.
one of the most flimsiest,
Yeah.
poorly designed adapters to have ever come out. It is
agreed.
it is
All
the
of them.
worst. The worst.
So those magnet things work great.
Now they
Well,
work great for charging, but
yeah.
John mentions they don't work for data.
You can buy them for data. They make they cost more. I mean, the regular one just for charging, uh, they cost next to nothing. But you can buy some that are for data. Uh,
There's no reason
I
the
didn't
data
need
won't
any
work.
of that. What?
There's no reason the data won't work. They just need to be,
Yeah, the
better
data one,
QA'd. The
the
yeah,
ones I'm talking about are the round ones.
yeah.
For the data, they're kind of like oval, and
But
they
that's
go.
the thing. Right now, it's a novelty. So
Yeah.
it's there are like 5 different major types, and probably another 10 really, really niche. Which, if you buy a cable, it won't work with that connector, right?
Oh,
There's no
absolutely. It has to
standard
have its
between them.
own. Yeah, it has to have
But
its own.
yeah, I agree
Yeah.
that they are a fantastic idea. But somehow I feel like the big guys are not going to adopt it, at least not soon.
Oh,
They have wireless charging. Why would they
yeah.
adopt
Wireless
that?
charging is the way.
because
Probably
because wired is a lot better than wireless always.
everything is going to be wireless. Everybody wants to get the wireless and wireless and
No,
wireless.
I do not agree. Let me ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
Do you prefer a wired network connection or Wi-Fi?
I
If you
wired.
have the option of a wired connection, you'll always prefer a wired
Yeah,
connection.
it
There's
depends
a
for
lot less issues.
it depends for what. I wouldn't want a wired Ethernet for my tablet.
Agreed,
So
agreed.
it depends,
But
kind of.
but the thing is, so especially with wireless charging, right?
Yeah.
Today, wireless charging is approximately 10 times more wasteful of energy than wired,
Mhm.
right? And combine that with the speed of charging, right? You get something that if you have the option for wired that is really, really effective, like the magnetic one, right? Which is, I mean, you only need one hand to connect the connector, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's as easy as that. Because even today, wireless charging is not really wireless charging so much as it's proximity charging. So that wire, that magnetic wire, compared to a proximity charging, no brainer. Now, if you're talking about truly wireless, and there is an interesting company doing something with that, like whenever you're in the room, the phone is charging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that will take. That will. The convenience is so dramatically different than, oh, I need to just put it next to my charger, next to my charging cable, or I need to put it, or I need to plug in my charger cable, or I just need to be in a room. Two completely different, three completely different scenarios, right? So, but a room that just the fact that you're in is charging, that wireless charging will take. All the others, it's it's an expensive way of upgrading your phone that you'll use only some of the times because you still need to haul that wireless charger everywhere.
I don't know. I mean, Nick,
So
you're happy with yours, right?
Yeah. I mean, I go
yeah,
to
but
bed, I throw my phone on it, and I'm good to go.
that's next to your bed,
Yep, I
right?
have one at work.
So
I have one here at my desk too.
right. But if you're traveling, you won't take your wireless charger with you.
Correct. I take my regular charger.
Right. And so you'll always need a cable. That's what I'm saying. You'll always need that accessory, and the accessory needs to make sense. Of course,
Well,
Apple, I mean, in next to iteration, they'll discard the cable completely, like it was headphones, and they'll prove me wrong. But I still would prefer a cable.
okay. I mean, I'm for my phone, for Kathy's phone, for the iPad, which are the three devices that we need to charge. I use those magnetic thing. I've got same cables in the car. That if you go in the car, you can also just charge it that way. So it's very convenient, and it makes you feel good because you know you're not messing up that port.
Yeah, I haven't made the jump yet because our phones, they have this fast charging cables from the manufacturer, and I haven't done the tests on the magnetic ones to see if they retain that smartness because it works only with those cables. And I should try that.
Say that again? What do you mean?
So OnePlus, the phones um, that we have two of those, they have something called dash charging. With dash charging, I hook up the phone, and in about 30 minutes, it goes from 15% to anywhere between 85 and full.
And
So, but it requires the dash charger
yeah,
and a specific cable, a dash cable. It's still a USB-C cable, right? But there's some wiring in it that some way or something in the cable indicates to the phone that this is a fast charger, and the charger does its smartness around it. It's the hell out of me how
So you have to carry around a specific connector, a specific wall wart, and a specific cable to use that.
Right. So we use.
How is that different than wireless charging?
Well, next time.
It's the same
No,
thing.
it's still. I can still charge with a regular USB-C cable. It's
no,
just
I know.
slower.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing. To take advantage of it, you have to carry on extra stuff. Which
No, all I'm saying is I would have switched to the magnetic ones, right? If I was sure that the magnetic ones will support it. I have no way
they
of.
won't.
Not necessarily. The pages actually on Amazon and all, they list Dash as an option. I haven't tested it.
Well, next time you're here, I'll give you one of those sets, the cable and the USB-C, and you can try it.
Yeah. Just need to try it. That's all.
It's about the resistance. That's what makes the Dash cable probably different.
The only thing I can think of that why it's doing it faster, if it's feeding it to more than one wire, it's like parallel.
No, it's just a higher
higher
resistance.
No,
wire.
what they did is something very simple. By the way, other manufacturers have their own fast charging technology, but those are usually built into the phone. What they did here is they took out the complexity and put it into the charger. So the charger costs a bit more, but what hits up is the charger and not the phone. And so by that design, the Dash is like it's the smart fast charging with it just makes so much more sense than competitive ones. But it's their own specific standard. So I'm stuck with that.
If it's the charger that does the work, and it's still taking the voltage into the phone the same route, then those things will work just fine.
Yeah, I'm guessing it will, but then again, it might also need some sort of data connection, right? And
now the trick is also, I mean, there's a big difference here. Does the charger that you have for that, does it have a wired cable into it?
Yeah. Oh no. The cables you plug it in, but it needs to be a Dash cable. So there's some proprietary, execution around it, and what exactly?
Well, yeah. So
I don't know the internals.
Maybe. So you need to try.
Yeah,
it,
exactly. That's what.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I mean.
So.
Say it again.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say this is that probably came from what was the Apple was using magnetic, or still does. Some of their laptops.
Oh, their laptop connectors are slightly magnetic.
Well, I mean,
Microsoft Surface is completely magnetic.
I'm talking about 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, the MacBooks, yes.
Yeah, it was magnetic. You don't.
It is, but it's a little bit different. Yeah, but it's a little bit different than what you're describing. Yours are flat magnets. This was a magnetized outer band. It did it, but it still had pins that connect.
Yes, right.
So it was a partial magnet.
Yep. But the bottom line is, it's in the EU they said, hey, they may pass a law that would say, okay, if you want to sell any phones here, all of them have to have the same charger. There's no.
Thank God for government.
No.
That is exactly the role of government in the world, is to tell people you can only sell phone chargers with a certain thing. That is great.
You can joke about that, but the EU, right, which is like if you look at its history, the Versailles Accords, right, 200, 300 years ago, the Versailles Accords state standardization as part of the treaty. And there's like a nice trivia bit about it. One of the standardization there is this defining what is standard tuning for an orchestra, and it's 400 and I think it's 440 hertz, right? They decided what is the standard sounding A note,
Okay.
and that is by law. By the way, the U.S. at the beginning did not abide by law. They had like 435 hertz. There's a fantastic podcast, little tidbit about it, talking about it. So standardization, we laugh about it, and it seems so trivial, but then passing a law like that, and by the way, one of the most interesting laws like that in recent history has been in Australia, where they banned region coding of Blu-rays and DVDs. That was early 2000s, right? They just had to stop the money grabbing of the big corporations when it hurt the consumer. And Australia was always like an afterthought zone that wouldn't get mainstream content, or would get it very, very late. And so by passing that law, by pushing out all of the content that was already coming in, but coming in with this rigidness into it, right? Suddenly there was a period of adjustment, but then the content sellers, they still want to sell you the content, and so they abide. It's we joke about standardization, but sometimes the laws is what, take all of these corporations that all they care about is the profit line.
Damn
And
straight.
suddenly it's part of their agenda. They need
Yeah.
to meet these regulations.
So
Yeah.
instead of the consumers voting with their wallets, they've got to have the stupid ass inefficient government put some bullshit law into effect to solve it. Which is what what Amnon just described with the EU charging. I mean,
But
that
the
is
thing is about
you've got the member countries of the EU are dealing with so many issues right now with migration and overpopulation, and then they're going to try to standardize phone charging. I mean, are you freaking kidding me?
well, you always need to deal with something, right? There's
Yeah, of
more
course. So
than the
instead of
big
dealing
issue.
with the actual issues, we're going to regulate
No, this is an actual
phone
issue.
charging.
It's a very small actual issue, but it's an actual issue. But that's an issue that is so easy to address. And you're saying instead of voting with your wallet won't work, because take Apple for example. Okay, we agree that Apple right now are probably the most widespread phones out there. Let's say voting with your wallet is the concept, and so all of the phones that Apple produce are with the Lightning cable, but Apple themselves do not put Lightning in anything else other than the phone, and that's totally proprietary, and no other company can use that. So even if everybody wants with the wallet they're willing to pay for Lightning cable, you won't get that. You put regulation, you put standardization, and then everybody
Yep.
needs to use the same.
That's not
connector.
that's not what voting for your wallet. That's not what voting with your wallet means. That means if I don't like how OnePlus is making their phones, instead of bitching and complaining about what OnePlus is doing, me and my friends who previously had OnePlus phones tell them to go pound sand. That's voting with your wallet.
But that does work. But when you're
That
talking
does work.
about
It absolutely
detail
works.
inside the product, right? That won't work by just shifting consumer spending. So, right, you need to find the middle way, and the only way of getting to the middle way and forcing everyone to use the same thing, that's law, and it sucks, but that's human reality.
Oh, sorry for the political stuff. We'll get back to regular programming.
All right.
Another 0-day exploit.
Yeah.
On
Oh,
Internet
this one's going to
Explorer.
affect you big time. Yeah. I know you're an avid user of IE, so make sure you. Actually, I was going to say make sure you update, but you literally can't because there's not a patch. So if you're using Internet Explorer, don't. Use something else, because there's a huge. It's the same almost the same issue as the Firefox one. There's a issue right at the end of the JavaScript compiler that's allowing remote code execution, and Microsoft knows about it, and they have not patched it yet.
So what is one to do? I mean,
Don't
this
use
is.
IE.
I'm going to close shop.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Jeez.
Yep. Oh, not that many people are using IE, but yeah. So I would hope this is going to be. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do here, because will they release a patch for Windows 7?
Probably not.
Well, no, they probably will. If they followed the XP model, they released plenty of patches after end of life for 0-day security exploits.
Yeah, they will. You're right.
Unfortunately, they will. Yes, because they have to.
But I mean,
You have 30% of the computers in the wild using the OS. You have to. Have to. It's very unfortunate.
I think what they're doing is they're trying to push people away from. I mean, this is kind of they're trying to push people away from IE. You know, in Windows 10, you have to go and search for IE, right? It's there,
It is.
but it's not available. It's not readily available. You have to know where to look and make a shortcut out of it.
Well, that's after they pushed Edge forward.
Yeah. But
Which
now
they're about to actually update, I think.
I remember in the early days of Windows 10, I mean, you couldn't find it, and people that wanted it, you had to go into the System 32 and find iExplore and make a link to it. I mean, a shortcut out of it.
I don't know.
It was ridiculous.
It's not the case anymore.
They just it's not. So it is available if you.
I just searched for it in my program,
Oh,
my search bar, and it pulled it right up.
But Microsoft also is replacing its Edge browser with the updated Chromium-based version.
Oh yeah,
and they did already on the 15th with that update.
Oh, great.
Huh?
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Windows 10 users will be automatically transitioned over. They say we already knew this was coming because Microsoft announced the new Edge launch date last month, but it wasn't clear that users would be pushed to the new version. Thankfully, it will look mostly the same as the existing Edge browser with all the same proprietary Microsoft features, except for a slightly more Chrome-esque look. Since the new Chrome Edge will be based off the same browser as Google Chrome, Edge will now support all the same extensions.
That's it.
Wow.
That's why it's so big.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I would say no is more important here.
No, I think so. First of all, yes, it's possible, but in order to do that, you'll need to sort of hack the browser to allow installing stuff from the web Chrome store. Otherwise, you need to go only through the Windows store. So extension publishers will need to go through Microsoft Store in order to push it to Edge, unless you're somehow hacking your local copy to install, the version, the extension that you want. So while the architecture of the extensions is exactly the same, you're limited to the source. Does that make sense, or did I lose everyone?
So like on Android, you have to go in and go into the security settings and say allow third-party apps to be installed. Something
right, but
that?
it's not like as easy as that, and
Gotcha.
You can't really download the extension from the web store. You need to you need the web browser to think that you are Chrome in order for that to work. So I use Chromium. I don't use Chrome. I use Chromium. I use the open source version of it, so that's based on it. And one of the some of the features that are not part of it are Google specific features like the web store and auto updates and stuff like that. I do that because a bunch of reasons. It doesn't really matter. But there is a solution for Chromium specifically. There is an extension that you load. Let's call it side loading. Okay, so you load into the browser in a specific way, and that allows you to use the web store for Chrome. So there's whole discussions right now around the Edge Chromium about solutions similar to that. So, but yeah, it'll require some work for it to work with Chrome extension the same way as Chrome does.
Kyle, you ever run the Brave browser?
I think I gave it a run. I didn't find it any compelling in any way.
Yeah, apparently their big thing is privacy. The default search engine is DuckDuckGo, and it's Chromium based, so the Chrome App Store works out of the box, which is cool.
Right. So I use Chromium instead of using the main reason of not using other Chromium-based browsers is you're relying on them updating the code base, especially for vulnerabilities and security-related issues. So either use Chrome or use Chromium. Anything else that you're using, you're basically delaying the deployment of those fixes to you. So, and with Chromium, you need to update on your own, as opposed to Chrome.
Well, listen.
So that's my main problem around those Chromium-based browsers.
And if any of the listeners wondering why Gal sounds like that, it's because of his audio setup. He lost his Bluetooth dongle to his headset, and it's using.
It's gonna be fixed next week.
I've heard I've heard that when you get a little bit older, you lose your dongle. Is that something you have experienced, Gal? I know Amnon's
what are you talking about? My dongle's fine.
Amnon's mentioned his struggles with that as an older gentleman. Appears to be plaguing. I'm the next one, but I've got a couple of years.
You got something
hopefully
to look forward to, Nick. Yeah.
Oh yes, very much so. Can't wait to lose my dongle. Oh wait, hold on. Wait. Found it. Found my dongle. We're good.
Okay.
Actually, I think you misheard. It was marbles, not dongle.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
That reminds me the days of 850 the Buzz. There was when we started streaming, Brian made a some kind of a promo for it, and he said you can listen to it, and we're streaming, and like everybody knows, it's not always easy to get a good stream. But talking about apps and Google and Chrome and all that, listen to this. Google said this week that it will begin to phase out traditional Chrome apps starting in June and winding down slowly over 2 years' time. Chrome extension, though, will live on. What are traditional Chrome apps versus Chrome apps? Extensions versus apps. Okay.
So the apps are what? Like the Google Drive Chrome app, right? I think that's what it's described.
Gmail was a prominent Google app.
Yeah.
For just the app would allow you to.
It would essentially install like a program on your computer, but you click on the shortcut and it would run inside of Chrome. I think that's what they're describing.
Yeah, something like that. That's the thing. The reason that we need to explain it is probably why they're going away with it. It didn't catch. When they introduced Chrome, they were looking at convincing the internet using population that the internet can replace everything they're doing, right? And you can do document editing. You can do video editing. You don't need anything other than your browser to actually do something meaningful, like work. And so Chrome came up with this paradigm of apps where you could run an app for Gmail and have it interact with your OS the same way as other apps, OS-based applications would run. And they will just be engulfed in this Chrome window. It won't be a tab, but will be like its own window, but it's actually Chrome running the code behind it. One of the features that they were trying to promote for specifically for Gmail was offline usage of Gmail, right? So you could still, if you were not connected, you were on a laptop, during travel, you can still answer your emails, and the moment you connect, it'll go in. Those are those were technologies that were baked into the Chrome browser, and so by providing the ability of these apps, which were basically very elaborate extension with their own presence on your desktop to work. Yeah, and now they decided to start winning people out of it. I can say I've tried some apps in the past. I can't say I've ever used them extensively. And I believe that's the reason why it's going away. It was never a real need. What I'm confused about, though, is they have Chrome OS, and I've never worked with Chrome OS more than like 5 minutes seeing somebody else's laptop. And as far as I understood, Chrome OS was actually the whole concept of Chrome OS was everything in the machine is in the browser, and so these apps seem to have provided the missing piece there. But somehow it seems that even on Chrome OS it's not needed. So
I mean, listen
yeah,
to the rest of the article. Google said Tuesday in a blog post that it would stop accepting new Chrome apps in March.
yeah,
Existing apps could continue to be developed through June 2022.
right.
The important date starts in June of this year when Google will end support for Chrome apps on the Windows, Mac, and Linux platform. Education and enterprise customers on these platforms will get a little more time to get their affairs in order until December 2020. Google has actually said 4 years ago that it would phase out Chrome apps on Windows, Mac, and Linux in 2018. The company appears to have waited longer than announced before beginning this process. The other platform that's affected by this, of course, is Google own Chrome OS and Chromebooks, for which
Yeah.
the apps were originally developed. So, what do you do on a Chromebook?
Well, you'll still, as far as I understand, you'll still get the browser interface the same way. You just won't get these dedicated icons. You'll move to use bookmarks or whatever. Yeah, it seems something seems like unanswered, or at least the press release isn't going into details on that, on how this is going to affect
Yeah,
Chrome OS. Yeah, maybe
well,
they're phasing out Chrome OS as well. Chromebooks, I don't know.
uh, that would be a bad thing to do.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if they are considered successful or not
They put them in schools. They
in
put them.
schools.
They can't.
I
They
know.
can't do away with. Here is an interesting, and we should listen to that and heed the warning. Facebook said that it would not make any major changes to its political advertising policies, which allow lies in ads, despite pressure from lawmakers who say the company is abdicating responsibility for what appears on its platform. So you can still advertise lies on ads on Facebook. They will not stop you from doing it. Sure.
I want to discuss this from another aspect. So,
Okay.
because Instagram belongs to Facebook. I don't remember.
Who?
They bought someone. Instagram and is Facebook
Instagram.
today, right?
Yeah.
Or they're just partners.
Wait a second. Yeah, Instagram. Instagram? What's
No,
happening?
Instagram from Facebook. Yeah. So Instagram, and I'll try to share it because I took screen captures. Browsing Instagram, I encountered the image that was posted was blocked out, and it was blocked out with where did it go? Give me a sec. Sorry about this.
You mean it was censored?
Yeah, it was like a self-censoring thing, and it stated false information reviewed by independent fact checkers. And then you have two buttons. You have one that states see why, and the other see post. It looks like this. I don't know if the screen. Yeah. Okay. And then when I wanted to see the post, it shows the post. It's some bogus thing about the basketball player, and you see that red line at the bottom that says CY fact checkers say this is false. And when you go to the CY, there's this this fact checking page, extra data.
Yes.
Independent fact checkers say this is false. The primary claims in this information are factually inaccurate, sorry. And it says that the fact checker is PolitiFact. The conclusion is false, and more information. In this case, it's just some tidbit about it.
That's a problem with it. Was the services that they're curating.
I'm sure some people will find that the service providers, these independent fact checkers providers, are not everybody's cup of tea, and that will probably change. But the fact that this is something they're exploring is interesting. That's the only thing I wanted to discuss, right? But the real question is, where is this heading? It's like, are we actually going to see, like, what would happen if my stream is prominently filled with these blocked images? Like, am I going to trust Facebook more, or am I going to trust them less, right? Because the amount of content like this is just overwhelming.
I don't see why anybody at the current point would trust anything Facebook is doing. I mean, they have proven time and time again that they have got a huge bias in the way that they operate as a company, and that's why that fact checking stuff really rubs me the wrong way. Is you've got a company that is proven, they've admitted that they've got very severe biases in certain situations, and yet now they're gonna, on your feed, Gal, you're liking a page. So I would assume you'd want the content, or you wouldn't like the page. You like the page, and Facebook is telling you, "Oh, watch out."
Well, to be fair, it's not like somebody specific that I follow. There's a general tag that I follow, right?
Okay.
And this specific thing is, it's like the celebrity related thing, not a political aspect. The fact checking doesn't add up to the title that they do, and if you go and you read about the incident, or there's videos about it, It has nothing to do with that, right? So it's like, yes, the service for this specific one works, but what kind of assurances do we have that it'll actually work? And forget about trusting Facebook here. I'm not talking about that so much. Is how would you set up a system where you do trust the information?
You don't.
You don't. You can't. Not these days.
It's impossible.
So what? So stop getting your news?
No. Make your own goddamn opinion up and go figure out yourself.
Yeah, to make an opinion, you need facts.
Well, and you can get facts. There are plenty of places out, but I wouldn't be getting I'm not going to trust PolitiFact, for Christ's sakes, to tell me if something is accurate or not.
But that's the thing. You automatically, right? You automatically have a knee-jerk reaction when you see the word PolitiFact.
Damn straight.
But this has nothing to do with politics, right? This
God, totally agree. But PolitiFact is a almost 85% of their funding comes from people with one political leaning. So with that being the case, how could I trust anything that comes on that? I mean, they've got a built-in bias just based on the people that are contributing to their platform. That's the issue. Got nothing specific to do with political fact. This is why I have an issue with fact checking. Regal, you have a bias. Amnon, you have a bias. I have a bias. We all have a bias. So how the hell can I tell you? I'm an independent fact checker. My bias. You can't get rid of the bias. That's why it's called a bias. That's how it works. It's impossible to get rid of a bias.
I mean, Gal, I would argue that they shouldn't use this company, or this company shouldn't use that name, if that's what they want to do. Because this will be like going down to the urgent care down the road to get treated, and you look at their sign and it says, "We kill people, urgent care," because that was an available name. Are you going to go in? Are you going to trust them?
Maybe no. Actually, maybe you have a point here. So the way it was presented, right? This page, right? Yeah. Maybe if the platform, in this case Instagram, right, would allow you, when you register to it, or when you in the preferences, to say, I trust these independent fact checkers, right? And see if you have any rating from them on the content, then maybe you can create a situation where at least you have some sort of trust, right? You establish some sort of trust with the system. If you can choose who checks your facts, I'm not sure if the outcome would be good, right? No. Because you can still choose something really, someone really untrustworthy, right, to do it. But
the thing though is, you may trust them today. What's going to happen tomorrow? Well, and you can't turn this into a job. I mean, it's a whole lot better to make your own mind, go research, find those places that are not flashed out there in the millions of views, and read what people are saying. But I mean, an example, what is the name of that fact checking program, site that we always use? Snopes 10, 15 years ago, that's where you go to. And you never thought about it in a political way. A lot of people stopped using Snopes when they realized, oh, look who owns them. And that's something that is a problem, because they have a bias. So Snopes today, I mean, I haven't been on Snopes in ages and ages. I won't believe a word they say. Because it's not like, you know, you go to Wikipedia, different people put stuff in there, even though they have maybe more people from this side or that side doing it. The fact is that if you are being tagged as involved with a certain political side, no matter what you do, there are things that are going to be held against you if you are looking at things. And here, when they talk about lies in Facebook, we know they mean political stuff. They don't mean, oh, I ate breakfast, I ate eggs for breakfast this morning, and I'm lying. No, that's not what it is. They talk about political.
PolitiFact disagrees that you had eggs.
Well,
They
yeah.
said that you had a
You
muffin.
see, I mean, it's a situation where they really need to think about these things before they do them. And here it is. It's stating that they are not going to make any changes to their policies that allow it. Why
Isn't that
not?
great? Because they're the same damn corporation that everybody knows they are. They're a bunch of freaking political hacks, and they're willing to collect as much money. They would let you buy fake advertising under the names of
Yeah.
politics because they don't have any balls to stand up and do something about it.
Now let me ask this question then. Why do they have to make such a statement? Why not just, hey, there's no comment. We're not going to say that. Yeah, that's
Isn't that
the way
crazy?
we are. We're going to allow it, but don't go out and advertise it like this. Yeah, we're not going to make any changes. We allow.
Yeah.
Why? For what purpose? What purpose does this serve? To
So
let
that
people know.
people will go there and buy
Well, yeah.
BS political ads in 2020 like
Yeah.
they did in 2016.
It just doesn't make sense.
No, I think you're missing the point.
Okay.
They now advertise. They basically created a honeypot, and now the Russians are going to buy all their advertising there, and they will be able to track the money.
Yeah.
They are doing it for the good of the country.
Oh
yeah, thank God. Yeah. When I think of terms synonymous with good with the country, Facebook is by far the top of the list for me.
Why? They
I
chose
mean-
white and blue as their colors. Come on, man.
I wake up every morning. Let me tell you this.
No red, no Soviet.
No, absolutely not. No red, baby. I wake up. I wake up every morning as I am getting ready to wake up and wear my cool T-shirts. I wake up every morning and say a prayer for Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and the great work that they've done.
Yeah, in the first
for
place,
this country.
I go in the morning before I check email. I go to Facebook to see what they want me to do today.
Yeah, absolutely. You get your Facebook email like every 8 weeks, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, hey, somebody posted on Facebook."
Yeah. Oh boy.
Welcome back.
919-518-9773.
I can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
In 2006, 7, that's when Facebook started opening up to non-college audience, and it was the most interesting, the best thing out there. And today it's this so divisive tool that I just fear what the next big hit in technology would turn into.
Well, that's the way. They have a lot to do with it. Yeah, the users have a lot to do with it, but
everything. Yeah.
No, it's
I'm
not
blaming
everything.
anyone specifically. It's just the adoption of this technology went to the ugliest place possible really, really fast, right?
Yeah.
And we're here, less than 15 years since it started, and it is
Yeah. No
at
words.
some aspect the worst, right?
Yeah, it is the worst.
Yeah.
Well, and okay, and we can move on. A lot of these sites, Facebook, it's not just Facebook, it's all of them. They have made incredibly poor decisions, and now they have to. In general, they've just made very poor decisions.
They made
and now they're
very poor decisions, and they made very lots of money.
Well, let's put it this way, just to be a bit more fair about this, right? They were never designed as political platforms.
No.
But the moment politics and business, right, took a hold of these, they went south really, really fast.
I
So,
remember back in the 90s, early 2000s, a customer asking me how a hosting customer that we did the website asked me how do they get on Facebook, and I said, why would you want to get on Facebook? I mean, Facebook is for people to discuss what they ate, what they doing, as far as it's not for businesses to advertise. And today I look at myself and I say, you dummy.
yeah,
you know yeah. Anyway.
yeah.
A lot of people are saying Facebook's very biased. Okay, that's what they're saying. I'm not saying it. They're saying it. They're saying it. Okay.
All right. um
What else we got?
Talking about hosting and stuff, a lot of people are using WordPress.
Oh yeah, I think it's the most used. I think it's the most used CMS on
Yep.
on the internet.
Serious vulnerabilities have recently come to light in 3 WordPress plugins that have been installed on a combined 400,000 websites. That was reported by website researchers that looked into it. I mean, it's
Does it say the
in
name of them?
Infinite WP,
Okay.
WP Time Capsule, and
Mhm.
WP Database Reset
Hmm,
are all
never heard of
affected.
those.
The highest impact flow is an authentication bypass vulnerability in the Infinite WP client. A plugin installed on more than 300,000 websites, it allows administrators to manage multiple websites from a single server. The flow,
Oh, I used this. I used this.
well, maybe this, I mean, I'm sure there are others.
Yeah.
The flow lets anyone logged into an administrative account with no credentials at all. From there, attackers can delete contents, add new accounts, and carry out a wide range of other malicious tasks. So again, if you have a WordPress site, you should be aware of what's going on in the site. You don't just let somebody manage it. So see if you have one of those 3 plugins installed: Infinite WP, WP Time Capsule, and WP Database Reset. That is serious. Now, WordPress is, or the whole WordPress ecosystem is vulnerable if you don't update it on regular basis. And even then, there are things that can fall through the cracks.
Yeah, like a third-party plugin that
Most of them are
messes
third
things up.
party. Most of them are third party
Yeah.
plugins, and most, if not all, WordPress sites use plugins from third party. So you really need to stay on top of it and make sure that it's updated when it needs to be updated. If it says that you need an update, make sure it's updated right away, because there are machines out there that scan and look for those vulnerable plugins and systems. I mean, I've seen a few sites that they were just beyond repair, and the customer had to completely redo it.
Um.
Nick,
So
yeah,
hi.
no, go ahead.
Hi. Um. I spent some time. God, I don't know if you've ever done any work with MIDI.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So I think we talked about it on the show last week. I got rid of my physical mixer, my big. Got rid of this. Still have it, but I took that out of service. So I switched from that, which is a Behringer 2442 USB, to I'm currently borrowing a UMC 404 HD from Amnon, which is an interface. It's a four input interface that I'm using to pull my microphone into into my computer, and I'm using a couple pieces of software. One is called Voice Meter, and it's a virtual mixer.
Yeah,
This
I
is
know
what
that one.
so this is what I'm using to control my audio, which is great.
Okay.
So I bought a what is called a Korg Nano controller. It's a USB MIDI interface. It's like 50 or $60. Um, Kind of the go-to for it's got a couple faders, a bunch of buttons on it. Cool little device. But I found out that the MIDI drivers only let you attach to one piece of software at a time, which is a I thought it was going to act like a USB audio source or a USB keyboard or mouse where you can have it in multiple programs at once. Turns out that's not the case. Um, so I had to do a
But
little working around to get
but
my MIDI controller
but
to.
doesn't voice meter allow to be controlled by other, like as a MIDI controller of its
It
own?
it does in some sense, yes. So I'm using an old piece of software from like Windows XP to split my MIDI bus into two virtual MIDI channels and control my software. So it
Okay.
was a rather interesting experience. But
I
now I can.
remember I used voice meter for something very similar. I wanted to have audio at exactly at my speakers and my Bluetooth
Yep.
at the same time.
Yep.
So you're saying it does that for a regular audio, but not for MIDI?
Correct, correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I've got my setup, but you can a MIDI controller can only one application hooks it and like a webcam. You can only have a webcam in one application at a time on a Windows computer.
Right.
It once it hooks into a piece of software, you can't go to another piece and say, "Oh, I want to use another button to do this." So I had to create virtual MIDI buses and then use this one software to essentially pipe the data to both MIDI buses at the same time. Rather
Okay.
interesting. I don't think anybody else on the internet's done it because I I couldn't find any articles. It took me forever
Put a link.
to figure out. Oh yeah,
The
Well,
article.
I'll post the link to it. I wrote a little article on it. But it was a rather it was tough.
Gal, see if you can fix your video.
my video, what happened?
It's just kind of really
The
bright.
brightness?
Go ahead, Nick.
Somehow,
No, nothing. That
Oh,
was it. It was it was cool to be able to it was I don't know, it was cool to be able to make something like that work.
yeah, and he worked hard on it. I can attest to that.
Yeah, fortunately I had a couple members in my gaming community who were MIDI guys, and I was able to get some help from them. So it worked out well.
so you say that the MIDI splitting solution,
Too dark.
that's it's either this or
Go
that.
ahead.
It's
Go
like,
ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. That's from an XP era application that hasn't
Yep.
updated.
Nope, it's called MIDI aux. I'm running it Windows
Correct.
XP compatibility mode. And it's working. Works great. So
Yeah. So
small use case, but rather interesting.
MIDI off.
um Nick,
Hi.
what did you do to your speakers and your headphones that caused Bose to go that route?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I started protesting at Bose stores and they shut them all down.
Isn't that amazing?
You didn't even know they had retail stores open.
I did not.
Mhm.
Says Bose is closing all of its retail stores in North America, Europe, Japan, and Australia. That is wow. They said that it's because that most of their sales are done on e-commerce.
Oh, really?
So,
People aren't
yeah.
going to the mall to buy a pair of headphones?
Well, I don't know. I would think that they do it because
And
people,
that's fake news. Gal, can you get a fact check on that? I believe people are
let's
absolutely
go
going to malls to buy headphones.
what was it? Not political. What was it?
Yeah, it was PolitiFact.
PolitiFact.
Do they agree that people are buying not? I mean, people are not buying $400 pair of headphones at
Yeah.
at
So
malls.
PolitiFact says that Fox News said that it's not true.
Oh my God, Donald Trump just tweeted about Bose. I mean, this is this is incredible.
Wow.
Ringing on the right channel?
Let's see. Yeah, it's running on the same channel.
Hey, it's Gene.
Hey, Gene.
Hey, Gene.
Hey, I want to ring in on the privacy thing and Facebook.
Yes, sir.
I think if you guys precluded the benefit of one thing in Facebook, every time I go on Amazon and buy something over $100, pop-up ads come up on my Facebook page for stuff just like it. And that way I don't have to communicate to my family or my friends all over the country what I'm doing. They all know and what I'm buying.
That's a good idea. There you go. Thank God for cookies.
I'll tell you what, though, one of the worst that happened to me last week is, unfortunately, my wife got sick. Had to go in the hospital. In for 3 days, went to pick her up, bring her back, and I immediately started to get phone call after phone call about home care and this care and that care.
Wow.
Really?
How do all of these people know she was in the hospital and got out, and she was in there sick? Tell me how.
Well, your phone was with you. Do you have the Facebook app on it?
When I went to visit her, my phone was with me.
And do you have the Facebook app on it?
I think the hospitals are doing it. I don't know. Somebody's got the information to them.
But did you have the Facebook app on your phone? Do you have the Facebook app on your phone?
No, I don't use Facebook at all. My wife's the only one that uses it. I set the account up.
Okay, so your wife has the Facebook app on her phone?
Yeah. No, she doesn't have. She don't have a phone.
Okay.
And she didn't have her iPad with her, and that's what she uses, the Facebook, her iPad. And she didn't have that with her. So I just thought, how in the hell all these people? The night I got home, the night I took her home, I'm getting phone call after phone call from these home care and nursing care people trying to sell me on their deal.
So maybe the hospital sold it.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like more like hospital affiliates.
There was an article that I was reading this week that said that Google can now has information about 80% of patients in the United States.
My God. Yeah,
and
well,
they're thinking
privacy exists. It's crazy. You gotta go along and deal with the fact that there is no privacy and be careful.
Yeah,
that's all there is to
absolutely.
It. Don't count on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I gotta go down. I gotta go downstairs now, so I'll see you.
All right.
Good week.
See you later, Gene.
Take care.
Take care, Gene.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that's a situation where I don't know what we're going to do about it. It seems like it's too late. They're going to start. Apparently, Google is thinking about starting a search engine for doctors, hospitals, nurses, and they're getting that information from somewhere.
Why do you think every app you download is free?
Yeah,
Gal remembers this. I know
free.
damn well Gal remembers that. Early days of smartphone, Gals. How many apps were free? None.
You're talking about the Apple App Store.
Everything was 99 cents. Until they realized that they could give you the app for free and sell the data that you have worth for
a lot
tens of dollars instead of the 99 cents that they were charging. So now every app is free. That is by far that is the best example of that change that Gene was talking about. Why would they charge you for the app if they can sell your data for dollars in comparison to pennies that they're making off of you with the app?
Unbelievable.
No brainer.
Yeah. Welcome to 2020.
Oh, I'm still in the past.
All right, Gal, here's something a little bit your side of town. Verizon is changing the way it sells its internet and cable packages as customers are increasingly seeking ways to cut the costly cord. The company is eliminating bundles and contracts. Verizon announced Thursday. Instead, it will sell its Fios TV and internet services separately. Long term contracts are also being trashed in favor of charging customer month to month. That is similar to how streaming services charge customers. Verizon is calling the new offer Mix and Match on Fios. There are now 3 internet packages and 5 Fios TV packages. Notably, Verizon will continue selling Google's YouTube TV for $49.99 per month as a TV option under the agreement the two companies signed last year. A home telephone package will also be sold for $20 a month. The new bundle free packages offer more price transparency for customers. Supposedly. Not all surcharges are going away, though. Verizon will continue charging $15 monthly fee for routers in some of its internet packages and a $12 set-top monthly fee in most of its Fios TV packages. But other fees it previously charged, including for regional sports network, will now be included in the total Fios TV price. So they're trying to go a little bit more in the way of streamers and give people better breaks. That's what it sounds like to me. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But what I wanted to talk to you is last night, Katie and Donna were here Saturday night, and Katie is converting Donna, her mom, from Spectrum TV, the TV service, to YouTube TV.
Yeah, right now they're the cheapest, I think,
And
TV solution.
and apparently all the channels that Donna that her mom watches are actually part of it.
Yeah, I know.
And if it's not all the channels, which I didn't know, there are some programs that she likes that are actually on different channels. So she gets them anyway. That's pretty nice. $50.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're exactly like a cable service, right? But right now, if I'm not mistaken, they are the cheapest solution
Huh?
Out there. I still think it's just the old model, right? There's nothing new about it. It's just instead of hooking up a box that you buy from the supplier, you just log in with a computer or a phone or whatever, right? Or a Chromecast or whatever, and you watch TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what people want, it's not cord cutting. It's just cord replacement. Just going wireless.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing she was
I
talking,
like that term.
Yeah.
It's not cord cutting, it's cord replacement. That is spot on.
The one thing that Donna was complaining about is she can't find the channels.
Because there's no, you don't punch in any numbers. Yeah.
Right. There's no remote like she's used to go to that channel. Yeah, go to that channel. I know where it's at. Of course, it just takes a little time.
Yeah.
And you can get there. But yeah.
By the way, I think I think Amazon has their own solution. So it's not exactly the same idea, but Amazon is completely a la carte, right? First of all, you need to buy their Prime stuff. And after you got the Prime subscription, you can also register for specific channels. Some of them have live TV. I think they have NBA or something like that. So it's like a lot of service providers are going that way. Interesting. Yeah.
Is Amazon providing the local networks?
I don't think they do that yet. No,
Okay.
I don't think they do that yet.
Yeah, the YouTube TV does.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, YouTube TV is exactly like a cable service, just over IP.
Yeah.
Right, over the web.
I don't see why Spectrum could not match the prices of these packages or create those packages. Why do they have?
Trust me, Spectrum. If you've noticed how Spectrum pricing works, is they lower their price only if the specific region where you're at, the specific area, has a competitor. So I'm guessing that if you call into Spectrum and you say you're switching to YouTube TV, right, they'll probably try to match that for at least a while. But also keep in mind that YouTube TV's prices haven't been stable. They've been rising again and again and again and again since they started. They started about 2 years ago. So yeah, it's like there's no guarantee.
No, there are no guarantees. Absolutely not. Yeah. It's interesting though. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about? It's that time of day again.
Nope.
Nick?
What?
What? Anything you wanted to add?
Yes. Update. Damn it.
Yeah, update.
Put Windows 10 on your computer.
Yeah. Are there any interesting shows tonight? Anywhere?
Yeah, a couple NFL games going on. I
Yeah.
believe there's a 4:00 and an 8:00. I'm sure there's somebody doing something on YouTube about something interesting. Other than that, no, not that I can think of.
Nothing but 7:00.
Oh yes, yeah. There's a show at 7:00.
Oh.
ATNshow.com, 7:00.
Put it in the chat. So it'll be there. But it's atnshow.com/live.
Or just go to the homepage.
Yeah.
Click online.
Nick talks politics.
Nick and politics?
I know, it's quite crazy. Quite crazy. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Actually,
how does that work?
I don't know. It's a good question. One day I woke up and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do a
Arne is saying something about no agenda.
Yeah. ITM.
Yep. All right. All right. I guess that's it then.
Yes, sir.
So thanks, Nick. Thanks, Gal. By the way, Spence I guess he's on the way to Florida at this point. He left yesterday to Atlanta. And he's going to be gone the week, but he's going to be back next Sunday. So, good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Dina. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you learned something and enjoy your time together with us. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive. Update your virus scanner and update to Windows 10. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.